Good afternoon, everybody. I've been busy, ain't had time to mess with the shifter, but I think it's time to get on it. I'm gonna get the console out and get that off, get all this stuff out of the way, and see what it's gonna take to do this. Off topic a little bit, but I wanted to show y'all this. I've never put in a video. It's my remote from my winch, which I don't hardly use anymore since I built that. But if any of you guys work in warehouses and the scanners that they use to scan boxes, that's the holder that goes on the forklift to hold the scanner. It fits perfectly. Thought I'd show y'all that. Alright, let me get this stuff out of here and we'll carry on. Get it looking like that. That liner's not liking that aluminum stuff underneath it there. It's shedding it. Let's see, I got mud up in here. There's the TCM. I get the cover off of it and see what our wiring looks like. Okay. Unplugging this thing. I want to always show you all this stuff where you don't break your shit. Those pop out. Squeeze in on the sides. That comes off. I think I'm going to tap into this, put a switch to it to cut it on and off. That way I ain't always got to manually shift it, but I got both options. And if we ever get it wet, we can just turn it off and flip on the manual shift and shift it like that, and then we'll use the manual on the trails. The reason I want to do that is because I'm going to build a camp trailer eventually, and I want to be able to pull it back behind me on the highway and have the computer still control overdrive, because you can burn a transmission up real fast if you are not regulating that overdrive switch right, and just listening to it and flipping it off and flipping it back on. And also you have to be careful on the trails, because you could flip it on in any gear with it on that dash, I'm pretty sure. So let's figure out what wire powers this thing up to cut it on and off, and we'll figure out which ones are the solenoids for first, second, and drive, and then we'll go from there. I'll turn y'all back on when I get a little further with it. And that's how the shifter is. We may go ahead and just bolt the shifter on there. Don't look like it's going to be much to hook up to it. And don't have, one of y'all was asking me the other day, y'all had one that wouldn't go in gear or something. Mine did that one time, and it's that cable there from the brake. I just cut mine. It'll crank. It won't crank in gear, I don't think. It just it'll let it release it. Alright, let me turn it back on here in a minute. Alright, let's get this shifter out of here. Funky pliers again. They are useful. Let's see how this goes. Blocking the camera, ain't I? That in a different way here. Alright. Should have just took the damn seats out. That's that one. This I'm going to do away with because I don't use it anymore. worry about the pliers. They're warranted. Okay. Put this to the side where I can take that out of there. I don't know how many Jeeps I've been seeing stuck in a parking lot that won't move, and it's because of that damn cable. All you gotta do is cut it. It goes right here, or snap that off. Alright, let me get a socket, my little rechargeable impact, and we'll flip that thing out of there. Now y'all wonder why the hell I don't just get everything in the get-go, but that's just how I operate. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I've been lying to y'all for a damn month. I was going to get this and put it in, and I ain't did it yet. I ain't had time. It's tighter than I thought it was. That gun usually breaks most of this kind of stuff loose. No problem. Battery might be weak on it. Hey, if y'all ever having shifter issues with your 4x4, see that hole right there? Beginning of my channel, I found like $7 down in there. I was having problems with the shifter. I think it was before I even started making videos, but that whole thing was full of change down in there. They're buying your shifter up. Some big ass bolts holding that thing in there, no wonder. Got a feeling I'm gonna have to peel this out of here. There it goes. Holy shit, you know what, dude? My vent tube on top of my transmission. I got a guy helping me one time. Put my tranny in, and he broke my damn vent tube. Shit, I already fixed it. I didn't think I did that, but I did. Alright, never mind. Sorry. Alright, that's our cable. Cool little draft. It was 27. Nah, it wasn't that cold. I think it was 37 here in Florida this morning. That's cold for us. I know some of y'all was like, man, screw you. It was 2 degrees here, or 0. I don't know how y'all do it. Well, let me look at the bottom of this shifter and see the new one and see how it sets in there and make sure that's going to be all sealed up, because it didn't look like it to me looking at it on the bench. I'm going to go get it and we'll set it in there. Guys, I hope this video is not for Neil for nothing, because this lighting's terrible right now. See, the first issue that's going to be with it, that sticks down there in the mix of things, but like I said before, we'll see what it does. I don't like that too much because I get water up in there, but we'll grease it up. I'll spray some spray grease in there, spray some spray grease on some of this stuff. Well, probably just right here for now. I don't want to get it everywhere. We'll put the caps. It does have these end caps that go on it, little plugs. All right, let me spray some grease in there and we'll set it in there. Alrighty, she's greased up. Oh, update on the engine in there. The blowed up 4.0. Damien got the guy that owns it, Damien, he got a Cherokee donor. We're gonna go check him out maybe Sunday and see what kind of shape it's in. Well, what the fuck? plug one all in. Let's see if that does better. Alright. It's probably in the directions, but got a piece of metal there in the way. I'll tell you what, let's go look at the damn directions. I think you're probably supposed to cut that out of there, but I ain't cutting on my Jeep unless I read it. I still don't want to do it, I'll probably just bend it. Once you start a cut or a crack in a unibody, it'll keep doing it. Alright, let's see what it says. That ain't gonna be cool. You'll have to turn it in. PD sideways. Oh, I done messed up before you start. It's funner not to read them. By removing factory center console, there's a small piece of metal below the opening that will need to be bent out of the way using a pair of pliers. Alright, we can do that. The wiring part of it's kind of wonky. I already read it, but let's bend that out. I'll put you back on camera. Put the old ball peen hammer to it. Just tapped it right out of the way. Wasn't nothing to it. Just a little thin piece of metal. Yes. Lord have mercy. Let's see what he does now. Like a glove. I wish that was taller, the shifter. Don't y'all wish your RXJs had taller shifters? Whoa, sorry. Got y'all on a mag base and you ain't want to stick to this liner too much. Let's see what that feels like, because I can make one, because that's part right there. Yeah, see, I set back, I'm a 5'11", and I have to reach pretty good ways. Let's put some screws in it and see what it feels like. To see, well, yeah, you don't want to get your hand too far away from this mini lever where you can shift him ease, you know. I looked inside this box, and it's just micro switches, which ain't no big deal. They're like probably 30 cents online. I stock them on my van. I can get them from work for like 50 cents, maybe 30 cents, something like that. But I guess when I get the shifter back to, let me get some bolts in it and we'll see how this thing feels, see if we want to move it up or down or whatever. Let me see. Let's get some bolts in it. I was going to pause y'all, but why? It's going to require a wrench on that one. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to put that one in first. See what I'm talking about. Sorry guys, I ain't made a video on this thing, man. I have been hammered at work. So, it is what it is. Let me get a wrench now. Everybody seemed to like the new camera mount. This little camera mount I had on the windshield is what I was using that last trail ride. And I know there wasn't much mud, but that will change very fast here pretty soon. But it's fun out there exploring when it's wet, dry like that, I mean. Because you can see places you couldn't see before. There's some of them places out there. Maybe next trail ride we'll go over in some areas I haven't been able to get into because it literally would go over the wind, you know, up to the windshield in the swamp. We may end up back out there this weekend. Get this in there. I know I said in the video I had this in, but I didn't mean it like that. I meant that I had it here. Like I get lots of parts in all the time here for work, and I just always say I got my parts in, you know, and that's what I was meaning. I watched that video and I'm like, man, I bet I just pissed some people off because I told them I was gonna make a video and I didn't mean that. But if you watched it to the end, you know what I was talking about. We're putting it in now. I don't know if we'll get to the wiring in this video, but I'm probably gonna have to. I want to be able to get the schematic out of the book where I can point out to you guys what wires what. That way you ain't got the directions tell you to put power to A and B and C, and if it pulls forward and you feel it's in first, that's first, and then it don't make no sense. I'll look at the schematic, figure it out. That way I can just tell y'all, yeah, this is the wire for this is the wire for that. That's my plans anyway. It seems to bolt up good. All the holes lined up, so let me screw it down and we'll see where we're at. Let's get the cable hooked up. Now that cable doesn't use the ball end. It uses a little screw and a nut. And a little nut and a stud. Feels like it's 3/8. It ain't 10 millimeter. Alright. Let's take the funky pliers. See if we can get it. Can y'all see me back there? Yeah. Make sure your ears snap around there, that way you don't have any issues with it. I like to stick something behind them and make sure they're pried out, and they are. Give it a little wiggle. Yep. Alright. Now, plastic piece goes over. Feels like it's right. I feel all the gears clicking where they should. Now anytime you put a shifter in that's got a cable on it, an adjustable cable, you want to put it in. Some of you might not know this, some of you might not, but when you're doing one that's got an adjustable cable, there may be adjustment on the bottom of this. I really ain't never looked. I have to look, but anyway, you want to put it in first gear. This is on any hot rod, anything. I've seen a bunch of transmissions get burnt up this way. But you want to put it in first. You want to get underneath the truck, Jeep, whatever it is. Pull the cable off of the shift lever and transmission where it slides on there. Make sure it's sliding on there nice and smooth. Then you want to put it second. Do the same thing. Keep going through the gears and making sure everything's lining up, because if you don't and it's not in gear like it's supposed to be, it'll burn transmission up. It'll put it in 2 gears at once on anything that's automatic, of course. But this thing's kind of wobbly. That'll be all right there. Let me get the nut on there and we'll play race car with it, see what it feels like. This wouldn't have to be tight either. It's a nylock nut. So if it was, I'm just going to bring it up to where that washer's touching that plastic on that ball end. You don't really want it to be tight on there or nothing. Alright. Let's stand out and just see what we got. Put it in too high, we ain't getting serious yet. Reverse, neutral, drive, first, second, drive. Works pretty damn good. Let me get my keys, we'll crank it up and see if it works sitting there like that. Alright, gonna be loud. Switches on the transmission is what that tells me. We're in the transmission. Damn belt. It is 59 degrees. And it's hot. Alright. Reverse. Let's drive. Oh, I like that, boys. That's sweet, man. That is freaking sweet. Hell yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I wondered if, I'm thinking that, I don't know. I might have to cut this out to make it look pretty. But we'll see when we put the console back in there. Alright, well that wasn't nothing to that, guys. It bolted right up like it's supposed to. Had to bend that little piece down, but other than that, it wasn't nothing to it. Now y'all's might have that cable on there for the brake release on the shifter. You can, I mean, do it at your own risk, but I've had to cut that off of several of them out in the forest because they get wet up underneath there and the damn thing won't come out of gear. But you can just cut the cable and then it'll work. Anywho, I like that. It's kind of low down there though, but I mean that's just for parks. So we get over here and drive. It's a little bit of a reach to it, but I could extend that, and I might do that too because I need a longer lever. I might do that. We may build something like that to come up off of it. I got some stock around there we could cut off and drill and tap it to go down in here. That feels a little too short for me. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I like it. Alright, well, let me go dig my book out. Let me look at some of this wiring. I'll review this, and we may stop here. I might come back, I don't know yet. Let's see, we're at 23 minutes now. Let me do some research on the wiring, because we're going to wire this up. Some of y'all might want to do that too. We're going to wire that TCM up where we could use it either or. We'll put us a switch. Dang it, sorry. We'll put us a switch somewhere for it. And yeah, it's probably going to turn the engine light on when I turn that off, but shit, that ain't no big deal. I'm about ready to take the bulb out of it anyway, and my car symbol with the trunk open. Ain't that some shit? The little car symbol all the Wrangler guys my buddies call it a chair car. But they can't follow it. They can talk shit about it, but they can't follow it. Anyway, guys, well, be looking for the next video. We'll get on this wiring because that's going to be involved, and it's going to take me a minute to be able. I want to really explain that to y'all, or you don't have to. Don't fuck something up. And the directions tell you to back probe the wiring to find first, second, and drive and all that stuff. But I'll find some color codes, and I'll draw out a little something, little wiring diagram. So if y'all go to do this, let's see how it works in mine though before y'all go ordering it. I'll make sure about how all this stuff holds up. But it looked like it'd do fine. It's close to 1/4 inch plate it's made out of. But anyway, let me get some info on the wiring, and we'll get on that in the next video. But it's in there, ain't nothing to it, and I like it already just because of that, even if it didn't have this. But we're gonna hook that up. Alright, y'all take it easy. Let's talk to you probably tomorrow, next day. Bye. Alright guys, I know this is gonna be hard for y'all to see. I'm gonna get as close as I can. This is the AW4 wiring diagram, or schematic, whatever you want to call it. This is a wire diagram for AW4. They should be wire colors. They should be the same for AW4. I've looked at several of these, and this is the one that makes the simplest deal. But there's your torque converter on off, second gear, first gear. There's supplied voltage from the ignition all the time. That's the hot side, and all the transmission control module does is switch a negative to them. Boom, boom, boom. Which is how most computer systems work. They pretty much switch negatives on everything. But anyway, I think that right there is what we need. There's several more for the older ones. But if you Google 19, Jeep AW4 transmission wire diagrams and go into images, you'll see all this stuff. See, there's the older one like the old lady's got, because it's got that comfort switch. I disconnected that on hers, but if you look down here at the solenoids, it's basically the same colors. It is the same colors: white and black, violet and white, blue and white. Goes up to the transmission control module, and there's your torque converter lockup, white and black, and I think that's first and second right there. It is blue and violet. The directions said to, let me click through them here and see if I can find another one that makes any kind of sense. There's a decent one, maybe. Well, when y'all are digging through these things online, make sure you go out there and write down the wire colors or print this out and compare them on your Jeep. Make sure it's your shit. And when we get to it, when we get it back out there and messing with it tomorrow, I'll show you how to test it without doing all this, which is what the directions said. But you kind of need to know a ballpark of what your wiring is, so you don't apply power to the wrong thing. But I'll show you how I do that too. We'll test it, see what's throwing power where. And we also got to find right here. This is where I'm going to have to disconnect mine to where I can turn it on and off. Probably take the battery from it. We may take the negative from it. The computer might like that better. On and off, But it is right there is ground, black, DC7 pin. But we'll probably put a switch on the negative and take the negative from it. No, we're not going to do that. We'll do the positive side, because if you take the ground from it, the negative from it, it could pick it up somewhere else, into bolts or through the housing or something. So we'll just take power from it. That's what we'll do. We'll take power away from that TCM on a switch. We're going to tap into blue and white. violet and white. We're just going to leave overdrive will only work when the PCM's on, so we won't put a switch in there for the torque converter, because you could very easily bump it, and like say you're in first gear and you're going off in a hole and you accidentally bump that torque converter lockup on, I'm pretty sure it'll lock up in first gear. I mean, it's not going to, it'll work like a sin drive when it locks up. It'll just make it a little higher gear in first gear, but then instead of riding on the torque converter, you're riding on those that clutch inside that lockup torque converter, and it'll burn it out. You don't want to be doing that. It's not very strong. Anyway, I'll tack this on here, and then maybe tomorrow's Friday. I got about 300 miles to ride to do service calls, and if I get home in time, we'll get on the wiring. If not, it could be possibly be Sunday. Alright guys, take it easy and have a good one. Bye.